Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. For the past couple of weeks I've been putting together some really lovely Happy Mail bundles and of course a journal for all of my Patreon members this month, and I thought I'd show you what's inside each before we do some actual crafting with it all. If you want to skip to the crafting part of the video, I'll put a timestamp here and you can skip straight ahead. So let's jump in. I'll start first with the journal. So our lovely Patreon member, she will receive this journal and she will receive a journal from us once every month. So I'll just quickly do a flip through so you can just see the type of thing to expect. So that is the journal that our Journal of the Month patron will receive. Now let's move on to the Happy Mail. Just jumping in real quick as I'm editing, just to show you the paper kit that you get if you are a member of the Creative Treasure tier on our Patreon. So you do receive a deluxe Happy Mail bundle every month, but every 3 months I create a one-of-a-kind, bespoke, unique digital download, and I think this one's around 60 pages long. So here's a quick little glimpse at the theme or design of this month. So this is how it will look when it arrives to you. So it will just be wrapped up in this lovely little kind of like coffee dyed tissue paper, which obviously is reusable, and then we've just popped a little sticker over the top with a little thank you note and a welcome note, and that's how it will look. I really wanted to kind of package them really special but keep it within my style, and I think I managed to do that this month. So should we have a look at what's inside? I have actually packed up the majority of the packs ready to go, but I have 3 of them here, and we'll just choose one at random, I suppose. We'll just go with the one that's on the desk. Okay, so let me lay everything out. Okay, so that is everything that patrons are going to receive, new and old patrons. Obviously each pack will vary, it won't be in the same colour, you won't have the same buttons, but they'll be along the same vibe or theme. So you get a couple of guest checks. We get this cute little envelope here. So what you're supposed to do is you write your note inside, then you put the envelope together, seal it at the top and send it off to the person. It could even be a letter to yourself, it doesn't have to be to anyone else. So there's that. Then we have a little Vincent van Gogh card. I'm just going to pop that inside there. So we've got guest checks as well. Then we have 2 large cotton tea bags and 3 small. We have 3 specimen cards, we have some twine, a handful of vintage buttons, all hand picked for you. Then we have 3 really thick brown card tags, a piece of vintage ephemera, this is from a vintage newspaper, and 2 handmade envelopes, which I am just going to pop inside there. Then we also have 3 DL or junk mail envelopes. So on to what we're going to make. All of these kind of things, they're like ephemera, and you kind of know what to do with them. I'm not going to show absolutely everything because we'll be here all day. So I just wanted to show you more of the unusual items, or the items that you have a ton of that you don't know how to use. So let's get crafting. I will be using some, sorry if you can hear banging, my partner's up on the roof of the shed replacing his felt, so just ignore him. I am. I will be bringing in some extra bits that I'll be using, mainly just like ephemera and decoration, nothing too fancy. It's always something you can find within your own craft room. The only extras that you might see that are different are these inks, which I have on my Amazon storefront. They're linked on my Amazon storefront. They're only cheap, but they're a really good little experimental buy. And then the punch cradle, which is available from our shop. If you don't have this, you can just, because obviously I'm going to be making a book, you can just punch your holes how you normally would, or you can just do it any which way you want to. If you have one of these, you get extra brownie points. So that is as much as I think I will be bringing in. You're just going to need your usual bits and pieces: glue, hot glue, some inks, scissors, craft knife, and some paper as well. So I'm going to say it again, let's get started. So in your pack you are going to get a total of 5 tea bags. So you will get 2 large and 3 small. Now I know some people will look at these and think, what on earth am I supposed to make out of them? But if you just use your imagination, honestly, you can make whatever you want. So I'm going to start with one project that I had in mind, and that's using 4 of the tea bags in total. So I'll just pop one to the side. Then I just wanted to, I'm going to leave that string attached, but I'm going to remove these strings from the smaller bags. Okay, so now we just have our stringless bags, and I'll just pop them to the side for now. So this is going to be our main piece, and all I'm going to do is just, I have a ton of these, so I'm just going to use a cellophane bag on the background, and I'm going to ink this pocket up. I'm only going to do the one side because my idea is that this would be glued to a page, because it is quite flimsy, so I would like to glue it to a page. So I'm going to bring in these inks. Now obviously you can use any colour you like. I've been looking at these this morning and I've been drawn to both brown and gold, so that's what I'm going to go with for now. And all I'm going to do is just move my string out the way. I think if I just have this at an angle, it'd be a lot easier for me. I'm just going to take these little ink pads and I'm just going to rub it all over the bag, or maybe not all over, because I think I'll leave the top, and just kind of just be really random with it. So we'll just smudge all over. Sometimes we'll go heavier, sometimes we won't. We'll just be really, really light. Please do be careful with your ink because it goes everywhere, and yesterday I ended up with it all over my face. I turned around to my daughter and she just burst into laughter because I had ink all over my face after using them. But they are little handy ink pads that you can do quite a lot with. So it turns out I'm not going to leave the top, I am actually going to ink it. There we go. Obviously if you're a bit more careful then you can do things as you planned. So I'm just really inking up the edges basically, and just leaving the centre slightly uninked. So that's the brown. and then I thought we could go in with the gold just on the edges. So I don't know if I could do it like this. Oh, I can. That looks cool. So that just kind of gives the edges a little bit of a darker, it's a bit awkward because obviously it's not stable, but it just gives it a bit of a darker edge along each side. You can of course do this with your distress inks as well. You don't have to have these particular ink pads. You can, even if you've got the mini ink pads, they'd be perfect. You could use those. But yeah, you can use anything really. And I suppose you could even paint them, couldn't you? So I'm just going to go over the edges with gold just to give it a little bit of sparkle. I know you can't really see it, but in person you can. It's got like a little dull shimmer to it. Kind of looks like you've put makeup on it. You know, when you have that shimmer from your blusher or something like that. Okay, so that's that. So we have that now successfully inked up and looking really grungy. And I'm going to remove, oh actually I wanted to do these as well, didn't I? I don't want them to be white on top, do I? Oh, that'd be the stark difference, wasn't it? Okay, let me just ink these up the same method as before, no rhyme or reason. Okay, so that's that now done. So I can remove my bag and bring this back in. Okay, so the idea that I had with this was just to make a pocket, simple pocket, but with a slight difference. So I wanted to put, so that's one pocket, that would be one pocket here, and that would be glued down onto a journal page. Then I wanted to glue these smaller tea bags on top of each other, but at different angles and spaces, so it'll kind of look something like that. Okay, so I'm just going to hot glue everything into place. So bring in the glue gun and just going to glue. I think first of all I'm just going to put tiny dabs just in a rough area of where it is that I want to glue my pockets, just so I can kind of get them where I need them, and then I will come back and fully adhere them down like so. I'm going to concentrate on these three first, and then I will attach them to the bigger one. So I just want to make sure that they are definitely glued down, and I think, to be honest with you, I think hot glue is probably best for this situation, but I am sure you could use an actual fabric glue, because these are kind of cotton in their material, so a fabric glue should work just as well as hot glue if you don't have a glue gun. And if you don't have a glue gun, or you do and you can't stand your glue gun, because I have been there, believe me, this glue gun is, I love it. It is so good. It's wireless. It lasts, the battery lasts for ages. I've had this since I think 2022, maybe 2023. It's a bit grubby, but apart from that it works absolutely fine. No burnt nozzle at the end that you usually get, so highly recommend that. I have linked that in my Amazon storefront also. So that is all of those glued and cooled down. We're going to bring in our larger pocket and just place them again on our large pocket. Again, I'm just going to do a random dab of glue just to get it where I want it, and then I'll go and do the outside gluing. So I just want to basically just make sure that the edges are all secured and glued down, so I'll just fold them over and apply my glue to the edges. I'll do this one at a time, because obviously I don't want my glue to dry. I'll speed this part up so you don't have to watch me be boring. Okay, so that is all of the pockets now sewn onto the larger pocket. I'm just now getting rid of my glue strings. Now on to decorating the larger pocket. Let me just grab what I need. Okay, so I've just grabbed some random pieces. These I'm going to use as little ephemera tags to go inside all of the pockets, so I've just put them to the side. I'm not quite ready for those just yet. I'm going to quickly turn my glue gun off because I don't want to waste it, and I don't know how long it's going to take me to get my layout sorted. So I didn't really know what I wanted to put on here, but I do know I don't want anything too extravagant. So what I'm thinking is we'll have a nice little cluster down here. I've got a little specimen label there that we could possibly even use to write what's inside. We've got the word love, one of the vintage buttons from the Happy Mail, and a stamp that I've just pulled in as well. So I'm just trying to, let's have a play about. Okay, I think I like that layout the best. So I've just got to trim this word up here because it's got too much white on it obviously, so I'll just cut that. Okay, so turn my glue gun back on and we can then go on to gluing these pieces down. My neighbours have decided to be cutting their bushes right at this precise moment, so hopefully it isn't too loud for you. But let's just glue these down. Again, I am using hot glue just because of the fabric element. Again, you could use a fabric glue if you know your fabric glue is a good one and will keep everything secured down. Also, just a quick note which I forgot to say is when you are using hot glue, well, any glue really, it is going to seep through into the pocket, so you just need to, this is why I've used hot glue, because it's easier to pull this apart, whereas if you're using a wet glue it may be a little bit more difficult to pull the pieces apart without ruining the piece. So just gonna go and rip this open again. There we go, so that's now back to being a usable pocket, and then we have our 3 pockets on the front. So these are going to be the little bits and pieces that I'm going to put inside of the pockets, and I'm also going to reuse the string that we took off of the bags and I'm going to put them on top of these. So I'm just going to start by inking around the edges of each and every little piece. I do also want to kind of reinforce these pieces because at the moment they are just pieces of paper. So I have some postcards that have printed a bit funky or not printed at all, so I'm just going to use some of the scrap card to make those reinforced tags. I'll now just cut around all of these. Okay, so all of those are now reinforced with my natural white card. and I want to attach some of the string that we took off the bags at the start. So because it's not really thick string or twine, I really don't need to actually like punch a hole. So all I'm going to do is just use my little pokey tool, and I'm just going to poke a hole randomly. It might be in the corner, it might be central, just wherever I feel like doing it, so that then I can thread the string through. Okay, so they all now have holes in the top, and I'm just going to put my string in the hole. Okay, so that is all of our little ephemera tags made. Now we can just go and layer them into our pockets. So I'll start with the larger tags first, and I'll just pop them in. They might snag on the fabric, but they do fit quite well. That one's definitely snagging. Actually, I think it might be glued. Yeah, there's just a little bit of glue left over. So we can now pop that in there. Go on, keep going. That's it. Like so. Then we just have a couple of little ones, and we've got one big one also. So I'll just pop that in there, like so. And then this one can go in the centre. So that is our altered tea bag pocket. The only thing I haven't done is put a tag in the back. Let me see if I've got one pre-made. Okay, found some just pieces of ephemera that I thought would look nice popped inside, and also a playing card. So I'm literally just going to put those into the back pocket. Obviously it would look really cool if it had some bits like sticking out of the top, but this will do me for now. So that will then be glued onto a journal page, and there you have a beautiful little pocket. And it's just something so different to what you usually see. All of our pockets are usually made out of paper, so this is totally different, total different spin on it. And if you have tea bags, this is how you can use them. If you don't have tea bags, why not grab yourself some, or just wait for the patron Happy Mail. Okay, on to the next project. Okay, so we're going to be using just one lonely old tea bag for this project. I'm going to remove the string here, and then all we're going to do is basically I'm going to make a book, like a little notebook, nothing fancy. So what I want to do is basically cut all of this stitching off, and I think I'll cut that edge off as well, or should I leave it? I don't know. Let's see. I'll cut the sides off first, and then we'll see what we feel like afterwards. So you want to leave the bottom pocket bit intact. Do not cut this piece. So just cut your sides here and here. Okay, I think I do want to remove that. Let me just, yeah, I'm going to get rid of that bottom piece, these two bottom pieces here. If I can find a way to make use of those, I will, but I don't think that I will. So this is, like I say, going to be our journal cover, or not journal, sorry, our notebook cover. I'm going to be using some ivory paper. You guys know I love my ivory paper, and I'm just going to use that to make my pages. So what I want to do is just get my measurements right. So on the inside of that flip, Okay, so that would be too small to just fold it in half. That would be too small. So then if we do it this way, it would be too big. So we're just going to have to kind of improvise and fold it. I don't want it butting up to the edge of the book. I want a little bit of a border, so we'll just do that, I think. So it's going to stop about here. So we'll fold that in half, and that's going to be our top piece of our little notebook signature. And then this should just overhang at the edge ever so slightly. Yes. Okay, so now I just need to cut it width-wise. Where's my ruler? Okay, again, I don't want it completely flush. I want a little tiny border around the paper and the cover. So if I just move this to the side, that should be enough for me. And then I will cut my paper like so. Trying to get my ruler as straight as possible. And then I'll just cut that paper. So then I also just need to cut off that bottom piece. That's not going to be included. Like so. So then that perfectly, oh, actually, I could do with taking a little bit off of the bottom there, couldn't I? So let's just do that. If I go about there. Okay, so let's just double check. I want to actually see it inside of the tea bag, so let me just open it up. There we go, so that's going to be our top of our notebook, like so. And we'll have a little border around the edge. Perfect. Yep, that's great. That's exactly how I wanted it. So I'll just cut out 5 or 6 more of this shape of the ivory card, and then I will be back. Okay, so I just cut some the size that you see me prepare, and then some just at a shorter, just to mix it up a little bit. So I'm just going to now make the signature itself. So I'm just going to alternate between the different sizes. So I'll just pop this one over the top like so. Then we'll use a big one, then a little one, a big one, the last little one, and then the last big one. So that is our signature nicely made. I'm just going to chop off the bottom there, because obviously, as with a lot of signatures, it's just popped out at the edge, at the bottom edge, so I'll just cut that off. You can leave that if it doesn't bother you, but I do like to cut mine off. There we go, nice and straight. And then I'll just double check everything is a-okay. Pop that in there like so. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to punch our holes. So we need to open up our book to the center page, which is this one. Like so, making sure that everything stays where it needs to be. And I have the tea bag fold central with my paper, and I have my paper aligned properly with the book cover. Okay, and then we'll bring in our handy dandy signature punch. I don't know why Nellie's crying. Please ignore her. And pop that there. So I want 3 holes, so should we do 1, 2, it's going to be slightly off center, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay, so we'll do this one. 1, 2, and 3. So it's not perfect, but I'm okay with that. Just remove that. Now I'll get some thread to bind this together. Just going to use this green piece of thread here, thread that through my needle, and just do the really quick pamphlet stitch. Just got to make sure everything's straight. So we'll go in through the middle. Go on, you know you want to, that's it. Then we will go back up into this one. You can go either way, up or down, it doesn't matter. Just pull that through, leaving myself enough to tie a knot later. Back to the bottom one and back through the centre, like so. And now we can tie our knot. I'm just going to put my needle back. Just going to pick up this piece here, bring it around the other side so our knot is actually a useful knot. And then I'll just tie these two together. Nice and simple, quick and easy. And then I'll just get rid of the excess thread. And there we have a cute little cotton covered notebook. And of course now we need to decorate. So because I'm not gluing onto another tea bag, I'm just going to grab back my little bag that I used for inking and place it underneath, just so that I don't glue to my paper and I don't ruin the paper underneath. So we've just got our top layer of the tea bag here, and then we can decorate. So I managed to pull out, I just pulled out some ribbon, and then when I pulled out the ribbon I just got random pieces of lace, so I thought we could also incorporate the lace. I've used another vintage button. I've just found this pretty image and another little snippet that I've pre-made and chucked into my scrap bin. So I'm just going to ink this first. I think for the decoration of this I'm just going to go with it. I don't think I need to try and fiddle and fart with it. I think it's going to be quite simple. I'll just pop her in the centre with a snippet coming along the bottom here with a button on top, and then I thought I could just do like another kind of snippet, and if I pop the snippet of lace at the top and then make a bow out of this nice blue ribbon to kind of tie it in with that piece down there and then attach, I think that would look quite nice. So let's get that done. So just pulled in my bow maker just so I can neatly make the best bow possible. So I'll just straighten out this ribbon. Then we can bring back in our little notebook and glue our bow down. I'm really excited about this project. I really like how it's turned out. It's just something so completely different. You would never think to make this out of a tea bag. There we go. I think I'm just going to cut and remove this now. Cut these just a little bit shorter. There we go. And that is that. So from 5 tea bags we have the most gorgeous little pocket and a cute little notebook. How sweet is that? I love it. Okay, so that's how I would use the tea bags within my crafting. and